I'm here with Joe Gittleman.
I'm Joe Gittleman. I teach in the music business industry program, things like music publishing, copyright, artist management, fun stuff like that. Well, I'm teaching a couple sections of the intro class that you took last fall. I'm teaching a record label practicum production. So every fall we sign a band and record an EP, and then those same students will market it and release it in the spring. So that's always fun. Well, I think it gives students a great opportunity to kind of work together collaboratively in a record label type environment. So playing some meaningful role in setting up a plan for marketing distribution, or volunteering to be a producer for a track, or stepping into some leadership position within the team, I think benefits students in any number of ways in terms of preparation and just honestly making the semester fun too, I think. I've been in a band called the Mighty Mighty Bosstones since I was a teenager in high school. We started sort of doing that full-time seriously in 1990, and we're about to release our 11th record next week. And so I've done a lot of that, a lot of touring, writing songs, working at labels, producing records. I've been a tour manager. I've done licensing for television and film on behalf of a label. So a little of this, a little of that. But it's all been sort of around, kind of helping to make the show happen, helping to make music happen, helping to put out records, writing songs, filling whatever role is kind of needed, I guess, has been my position. I was living in LA working in a record company, and me and my wife were really sort of excited about living rurally, just sort of experiencing a different environment. And Vermont has always had something of a pull on us. My uncle had a place up in Glover when I was a kid. We had some friends in nearby Barnet. So we were just kind of like, what would be a fun chapter? And so moving to Vermont was our goal. And ultimately we sort of stumbled upon, at that time, was just brand new news of a music industry program that was starting at Lyndon State College. And so I introduced myself to the woman who was the chair of the department, and served as an advisor to the program for a year, and then ultimately started teaching, I think, the next year. Well, non-COVID interaction, students bust into my office with their guitars and play me tunes they're working on, and it's great. I mean, that's probably some of my favorite stuff, is hearing student work, not necessarily in the context of a class, but just sort of outside of class and sharing ideas and giving feedback and that kind of stuff. We've got great songwriters in our program. I mean, I have a student who graduated 6 years ago who is still sending me MP3s of tunes that he's working on and stuff. So I like those sort of collaborative friendships, and just hearing what students are excited about. We are particularly good at getting our students experience through meaningful internships. We have students going out on tour this summer with James Taylor. We have students who have gone out on tour and received internship credits on a variety of tours over the years. We're pretty well connected. We have a lot of friends and associates working in New England in the music business in different places. So I think that experiential learning piece is particularly strong at Lyndon. As a first year that you're allowed to be in the studio by yourself and you can access the equipment, and people aren't, breathing down your neck or looking over your shoulder, you're responsible. You have to, if you're going to be running a session, you have to be the one there to figure out why it's not working at 3:30 in the morning or whatever it is. So I think we're particularly good at helping students get hands-on experience. Well, I'll give you a perfect example of how an internship can turn into a job. So a student who graduated last May, her internship was at Catamount Arts, working in the offices there. She did 6 credits, 3 credits fall, 3 credits spring of her senior year, and loved it. Really, really loved it. Well, they offered her a job in May, but the pandemic hit and she thought it was better to go home for a variety of reasons. Well, she's coming back now. You know, the job offer stands, and she now works at Catamount Arts, you know, and is going to be actually, hopefully, I hear, fulfilling some role in sort of liaison between NVU and Catamount in placing interns. So the process is kind of evolving a little bit with all this move toward, you know, earn while you learn. We have 6 production concentration interns out getting paid by Catamount, running the 2 mobile stages, Vermont and New Hampshire. We have another student, I believe, who will be starting up on the arts education side. Again, hopefully, probably they're doing all 6 of her internship credits. Again, a paid position with Catamount. And so that's an example. We have a good relationship with them. They make us aware of the needs that exist on their end. We think about who's at what stage in their studies, who's looking for internships, who's around in the summer, what your concentration is, what your interests are. And so it's sort of like micromanaging, sort of placing, suggesting. We can't ensure every student will be hired,
Right.
but we can always create opportunities for them to connect and to submit applications and all that kind of stuff. It's less expensive. I mean, I think that that's a meaningful reason for a lot of people, you know, just based on the value, frankly. I have a lot of friends, you know, I've interviewed people looking for jobs when I worked at labels. I have friends who hire people and stuff, and I don't know that anyone's getting necessarily hired because of the name of the school that they're, you know, they attended. Though I think more and more Lyndon NVU has a great reputation, but I think it's also about that experience and who is your list of recommendations and who will speak on your behalf. You know, what kind of demonstration of your skills can you show to your potential employer? What will they see if they search your work? What does it sound like? What does it look like? You know, what experience do you have? So I think it's a combination of things, really. You know, doing well on the academic side, developing on the professional side, taking advantage of every opportunity to gain and gather experience. I think Lyndon, NVU-Lyndon is particularly good at helping students kind of do that. So students could come for that. They could come for the access to the world-class facilities. We have some, you know, our studios spaces may be a little small, but those are great spaces, you know, with top-notch equipment, and that equipment is even better because of the access that we allow our students. I love seeing students taking advantage of the facilities, working late. You know, any space on the schedule, I want that time. I think perhaps there are students who should recognize the value of that time and should take advantage of it more. Yes, but there are plenty of students who take every opportunity that they have to work on music. Definitely. You know, students in our program take classes in the business department. As a management concentration student, you'll take principles of marketing and fundamentals of management business and financial accounting, and you know, some of those businessy classes. So I mean, we have a great relationship with the business department. Our audio students take electricity and electronics. It's a physics class offered through our natural sciences department, I think they call that. And we have a psychoacoustics class that's also taught by a physics professor. And so those are just some examples, but you know, there are connections and crossovers. Our students oftentimes will work with students working in visual arts, provide music for different projects and that kind of stuff. So there are a lot of opportunities for collaboration across departments. In the early days, I just wanted to be near music. So as a kid, I lived in Cambridge. I used to go and stand outside. There was a bar up on Mass Ave. It was called Jack's, and Jack's was it had a huge like kind of plate glass window where you literally you're 10 feet from the stage, the side of the stage. Like it would be you standing here on the sidewalk looking through the window. Then there would be maybe a couple of roadies here, kind of watching the stage, and then the band. And so being near music and watching musicians was my goal. Um, how close can I be? How helpful can I be? How much equipment do I have to carry to get into that show for free? How much equipment do I have to carry to get into that bar that you have to be 21 to go into, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I was just inspired by being around music and musicians. I didn't really know what my role would be. Initially, I was thinking I would be like a crew person. You know, I was a guitar tech, a stage manager. I've been a tour manager, but I'm playing music through this too. So I'm developing my own, songwriting skills and practicing my instrument, and started playing some shows around the same time. So both things have always been kind of, moving along at different paces in my life, behind the scenes or on stage.
Yeah, of course.
There's been sort of a balance there for me in those things. We were fortunate to put together a group of people. There was good chemistry, and together we made this music, and there was an energy there, but you can't always count on it. There's sometimes there are sort of intangible elements to this. How does that voice sound with that guitar, and all that goes into kind of making something that is hopefully going to resonate with people, is kind of out of your control on some level. So there's certainly luck there, the timing of it. We were probably on our third major label. We were on our third major label record and had released 2 independent records before we ever really had sort of meaningful commercial success. So I think that there was a lot of hard work that brought us to that point, and a lot of it was for us was on the road. We kind of cut our teeth as a hard touring band, and just spent year after year after year after year after year touring as much as possible and building a sort of committed fan base. And we have great supporters, of course. So there's a luck component, there's a hard work component, there's this sort of timing component. How interested will the world be, or will media be in your sound at the time that you're sort of ready to put it out there? All these things are sort of out of your control to some degree. uh, Come on up, check it out. It's a good program. We've got some great students, and we have some great faculty. We have great facilities, and it is a value, and that professional experience piece should not be overlooked.